My whole life they didn't want me
Taste the
to do shit.
motherfucking freedom.
You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? Where
Get
you
kind
gonna
of
go?
crazy sometimes, you know what I'm
How
saying?
you
You
gonna
just
make
got
some
shit, I
money?
just push, you know what I'm saying? Me, the way I work is I keep operating because I never fail, you know what I'm saying? I fall, I pick myself back up, I keep going, you know what I'm saying? I fuck what happens, you know?
King's
You
Logic,
can't take me
Female
down.
D.
There's no force in
There you
this
go,
world that
Mark.
can fucking cancel my
Come on
energy.
up.
Fuck it,
Get
you
down
know?
here.
Let's go,
Got the key,
Come.
what? I'm back. Blaze the track. Already twisted, no need to introduce. Get lifted one line. Political rap, milk, killing cancer like pills. Pop the general, it's arsenic. Retarded to the flame. Go against the grain, feel the same numb pain. Fuck shots, grab the bottle. Getting hollow, run for cover like the day after tomorrow. You can say it's chill, life's cold, but keep it real. Undercover, lost the battle, but still won the war. Dark side of the force, mind trick, transform. Jedi John Connor, doing what you wanna. Puffin' nails, hydroponics, getting lost in the madness. Sustained at the level that you practice. On my own planet while I bring it back to Earth. Crashing like a comet and I'm coming feet first. Fuck that, already spent and it ain't no apple pie. Try to tell the truth when you living in a lie.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Tales from the Chris. I'm your host, Chris White, Mucosal Melanoma survivor, thriver, and advocate. On today's podcast, we're going to be talking about anything and everything that's all on the table. So, please, without further ado, welcome my guest, Jane Ward.
Chris. We'll have Jane Ward with us today. What we're talking about is our specific diagnosis and how it has affected us since diagnosis and how it is such a rare disease and the importance of talking about our rare disease in the melanoma world. So I myself was diagnosed in 2018. I went through 18 months of treatment, ended up getting into a clinical trial, and within that clinical trial, I have had a complete metabolic response, and so I'm very blessed for that. Today, I have with me Ms. Jane Ward. Ms. Jane, will you please give us a kind of elevator speech on when you were diagnosed and everything about your experience so far?
Okay. Well, I will just jump right in and tell you that I have anorectal mucosal melanoma, and my symptoms were rectal bleeding. That's a pretty big sign that something isn't right. I distinctly remember December 3rd, and I had not had a colonoscopy in 10 or 11 years, and I had done the Cologuard, but Cologuard will not detect this kind of cancer. And so fortunately, I got in pretty quickly and had a colonoscopy on January 26th. And when I woke up, the surgeon said, we did find a mass. I took a biopsy. It could be cancer. And at this point, I'm thinking maybe colon cancer. And then I found out on January 31st. So what is that? Not even 4 months ago, I'm kind of a newbie on this journey, that it was mucosal melanoma. And like we've talked about on our Facebook page, I went to Google and a lot of it was outdated and really, really scary. I actually think the first article I read was 2009 and pretty darn grim. And so I learned to be very careful, to read on PubMed and to look like, is this year? Is it 6 months ago? Things are changing. There's a lot of clinical trials and things you know more about than I do. So I have currently, I wanted to do I wanted to do neoimmunotherapy, and that wasn't really offered. So I had my surgery. The main tumor was removed in another spot, and I got clean margins. So I am NED, no evidence of disease. That can be seen with a PET or CT scan. So I have done just one dose, tomorrow my second dose of immunotherapy. And yeah, that's kind of, I'm still learning a lot.
Gotcha. So when was the last time that you scanned?
I had, my last PET scan was February 15th and an MRI. I had a CT scan Um, my oncologist has actually talked about the circulating tumor DNA testing, which we'll leave that for a whole nother day. So she's trying to set that up for me as well. And but you and I know, all of us in this community know that there's microscopic metastatic cells that are in there that are just dying to, you know, enter a new organ or start a new tumor. So yeah, it's been quite a journey. It's, you know, times where you feel really scared, times hopeful, and it's all okay. It's all part of the journey, you know.
So, in terms of where your scan schedule is currently, when is your next scan, and what type of scan is it?
I'm having CT scans and MRIs. My oncologist prefers those over PET scans that can light up with viruses or other things. And I'm having those two early in June. And I'm having a sigmoidoscopy tomorrow. And sometime in between there, a circulating tumor DNA testing.
Gotcha. So from the time of your last PET or CT scan to your next PET or CT scan, how long will that be?
Almost 4 months, which I had preferred a 3-month time frame, but because we're going to get the circulating tumor DNA testing done in there, she felt like it was enough. I did have my surgery on March 3rd, you know, and looked good then. So
okay, I gotcha. Now, tell me again, where are you currently getting treatment at?
I'm getting treatment at Fred Hutchinson in Seattle, and I've been really happy there with the care.
Right on. Now, your current doctors that you are seeing, are they a specialist in mucosal melanoma oncologist, or what type of doctors are you seeing?
Yeah, I have the one oncologist, and she is just a melanoma specialist, not mucosal. She has seen and worked with mucosal melanoma patients. I feel like at Fred Hutch they collaborate a lot, and I've asked her about this because the oncologist that has done some clinical trials, you know, with mucosal melanoma sits right next to her, and probably, as you know, and most people may or may not know, there's a tumor board there that's got all the specialists that go over your particular cancer and your diagnosis, and can make recommendations as well.
Most definitely, and that leads me into what I wanted to talk about next, and you've perfectly, like, you know, stated it, is I wanted to talk about the tumor board, you know, and what that is and what that means, because when you have such a rare disease, it's not like you're just looking out to the average oncologist. You're almost, you know, you have to have a team of people that come from all these different specialists. You have to have a specialist from here, a specialist from there, a specialist from there, you know, all come together, you know, and that's what they're calling the tumor board. So is that kind of what you have going on at Fred Hutchinson right now, or?
I don't think they're currently looking at anything, because my plan is a year. Every 4 weeks, I'm having Opdivo, and then every 3 to 4 months, the scans. I'm trying to take really good care of myself. I'm taking my self-care seriously, before I don't know that I have as well. Definitely.
So personal self-care is definitely taking a hike on the list compared to what it previously was.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, you never really think about, you know, if you end up catching a disease where they tell you, hey, we don't know what causes this, and then you end up starting thinking about, well, what could have caused this? You know what I mean? It's a total backtrack, and that right there, I completely understand.
Well, I had my oncologist ask me, well, actually, I should maybe backtrack. I had one oncologist at a different facility, and we did not connect well. So I had gotten my second opinion from Fred Hutch, and I was very happy there. So I went ahead with the doctor that I felt listened to me the most. And one of the first things she asked, I believe it was even our first visit, was she said, "Are you exercising?" And I was thinking, well, yeah, I do a pretty good job. I'd prefer to be a slug, but, And she said, keep it up. You need to be strong to get through this. Exercising.
Totally agree.
Low stress.
Very much agree.
Yeah, eating as well as you can. All those kind of things are going to boost your immunotherapy, keep you, physically and mentally strong. So I appreciated, that knowledge from her.
Healthy habits.
Definitely.
Excellent. Most definitely. I definitely highlight on healthy habits. That is a very good thing. Good deal. When getting diagnosed with everything, and I mean, being that, you're still within your first year of your diagnosis and everything, obviously, I mean, this goes without saying, it's overwhelming. And so I myself, came up with my own method of how to, deal with and handle, everything. And which for me was, I ended up pushing it to the side and, dealing with it later. But as somebody that's getting, diagnosed with it in the middle of it now, I mean, like, how emotionally and everything, how is everything going in that sense? I mean, are you handling everything all right? Is everything cool? I mean, tell us what's going on with that.
Well, I found the Mucosal Melanoma Warriors group 4 days after my diagnosis. That was a huge support system for me. And I think going through this, you need a really good support system. And that's a great community where we are all learning and we can all bring different things to the table, experiences and knowledge, as well as I think family always. I've had really good replies and really good support from family. And I have a friend I had not seen for 20 years. And
oh, wow.
She made the effort. She actually came here. And some of us girlfriends who used to get together when she lived in my area, we got together for dinner. And, I've seen a cousin I haven't seen for 40 years. So you start making those relationships, and that support a priority. And I decided early on I was going to stay as positive mentally as I could and emotionally. Not saying I haven't cried and I get scared for sure. But my oldest daughter said, "Mom, people are asking, what can they do?" Well, it's my husband and myself at home, and I'm trying to eat really healthy and careful. So I thought, I don't really want meals. And so I said, well, people want to tell them to send me crazy socks and funny jokes. And so literally, Chris, I have gotten about 100 pairs of socks. And I wear them to my doctor's appointments.
I love it. That's awesome.
Just cheers me up. Cheers. And I'm going to show you a couple of them because you won't believe them.
Yeah, let me see.
So these are Wonder Woman socks.
Nice. All right. Cool.
Let's see if I can show the chicken feet.
Oh, you got chicken feet socks?
Chicken feet socks. Very good.
All right.
Pink unicorn with tails. Seriously.
Oh, that's classic. Oh God, that's
I'm
so
saving
good.
this one for a really special day. I don't know if you can see that.
What the hell? Yeah, no, I see it. Yeah. No, that's cool. I love it.
So, having that support, online, family, friends, however you can get it. For some people, meals might show support. And I think it's such a personal journey. And, each person kind of has to figure that out as they're going along, I think.
Nah, you're totally right there. Hit it on the spot.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's different for everybody. I mean, sometimes it hits you exactly when it's going down. Sometimes it'll hit you later, but once you get it, you get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And definitely I'm scared. I think that I'm new in my journey, that I have a healthy, I would say, dose of fear that may not ever leave with mucosal melanoma. You tell me.
It's really weird for me because in a sense, I feel like, all right, I actually have the feeling that it's gone. I don't have to really worry about it.
Yeah.
Which is like really kind of weird to talk about because there's not a lot of people I can talk about that with, because I don't know if there's a lot of people that share that, you know what I mean? But I got, I was the very last person dosed in the clinical trial that I was in. And, that specific trial, is trying to get through FDA approval right now. And when it does, there will be more people that I'll be able to relate to. And so I know eventually there's going to be more folks out there that have, be able to get through the same treatment that I got, hopefully, and they won't have to go through as much that I had to go through to get it. But, it'll be more prevalent and everything. But, it's been 3+ years, 4 years almost, that I've been, since I've had to really deal with treatment, but I understand that feeling of always trying to be like, hey, ultimately what I really want to get to is that point where I just don't feel that chemically nasty, just weird, gross feeling anymore. And unless you've going through treatment, or anything, you probably won't understand what I'm talking about. But those, and everybody that has or is, they'll definitely know what I mean, because you don't realize the feeling of like just being normal until you're not going through this nasty chemical treatment kind of a thing. And so that, even when I go to scan now, it's like I have to put myself in a state to tell myself, hey, everything's all good, it's going to be good. But it's like, even if 99% of myself is telling me it's all good, I still have that 1%. It's always, itching, you know what I mean? Right there in the back. So it never leaves, it never leaves.
Yes. Well, you're a good symbol of hope, though, for all of us. That's important.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, that's important for us all to know that that's what we're shooting for.
Most definitely. I mean, if the whole ideal is if you can, get to a spot where you can do this treatment. I mean, yes, you might have to spend, 2 weeks in a hospital, and go through a week of chemo depletion, and then, another week of getting this infusion and recovering from it. But when it's all said and done, this will be, all the, trial and error of like, we don't know, and this may or may not, work, kind of a deal. I mean, this is literally not just for, melanoma patients of, rare types or common types, but other kind of cancer patients, across the board. So, I mean, this literally changed the world. So like I'm an advocate, not, more or less for, mucosal melanoma or melanoma, but just cancer survival, period. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, what would you do when it all comes down to it, and here's what you got to do. So, it's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple tips that have really worked for me that I can pass on. And I think we mentioned this before about like recording your doctor's appointments. And then I go and I also transcribe them so that we miss things. I mean, we're getting all this information, and sometimes, like you say, we have these fears of our scans and things. And so I think people just, be as knowledgeable as you can, and learn as much as you can from reliable sources, and have good doctors that you connect with, and lots of support. And I don't know, did you ever have a social worker that was assigned to you?
You know, not really, and not specifically, because my situation was kind of unique. I live in Dallas, you know, but I was getting all my main treatment out of MD Anderson in Houston, but it was because of my connections in Dallas that got me connected with MD Anderson in Houston. And so I always made sure that the two of those were still in contact, you know, and that was the main kind of thing. And this is probably a whole nother episode we could go into, but making sure that, like, you know, those two in connection and everything. And so but the thing was after MD Anderson, you know, could only do what they could for me, and you know, I ended up, you know, then I got connected with you know, UC Health in Colorado. So it was from one oncologist to the next oncologist to the next oncologist. But altogether, I was always, you know, to be very important that I was involved in, like, okay, where was I going? Who was making these decisions? You know, why are these making these decisions? You know what I'm saying? Are they wise decisions? Do I agree with these decisions? You know, who are my go-tos to, you know, bounce off of my, you know, what I tell everybody, it's the cause and effect, you know what I'm saying? The yin and the yang, or, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you have to be able to bounce some, you know, if I'm just going off my own mind, you know what I'm saying? My own mind can take me in all kinds of places, but I have to have that cause and effect, you know what I'm saying? To be able to talk about, you know, what's best and, you know, what's going to be most effective, you know what I mean? And so, and that's really what, you know, it's all about the conversation. And so I'm just, everything always boils down to me. It just comes down to conversation, really.
Well, I love that we're having this conversation, and the next person that gets diagnosed, you know, and doesn't know where to turn, the more we can get information out there and experiences with mucosal melanoma, it won't be as scary, you know. It'll be something that people start to learn more about.
Well, you know, and that's exactly why we're having, you know, these conversations, and, you know, we're recording them, and we're, you know, being able to share them with everybody, is that, you know, you're not the only one, you know, that has had this type of experience, and therefore, once you go to search for it, you'll be able to be like, oh, you know, I'm not alone. And so, you know, I can't thank you enough for, you know, everything that you're doing.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm like I said, I'm not too far into my journey, but boy, have I been learning a lot. And just grateful for all the support in our online community, and look forward to maybe talking to you down the road when I've had even more experiences.
You know what? We definitely look forward to it. So, you know, with that being said, we're gonna complete today's call and everything. But thank you so much for joining. I'm definitely gonna, you know, be doing a follow-up call. We'll have another one. You know, we'll just continue from where we left off. But once again, I mean, it's all about, you know, having a conversation. So, Jane, thank you so much, and I appreciate you so very much. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris. Bye.
All right, take care. Have a good one.
Take care. Thanks.